we was United Service, so we didn't do it. And then I wasn't here last week, so I feel like it's been a long time since I did Sermon on the Mount.
We did podcast last week.
Yes.
We did.
Yeah, we had Adam and Scott.
Yeah.
And Rachel's bringing up the percentage of women in the room. And
It's
0%
just us.
today.
0%. That's unfortunate.
Ty wore the wrong color shirt.
I did wear the wrong color shirt. I actually almost wore a black shirt, but I got a pretty gnarly sunburn. I don't usually burn. I haven't been outside this much this summer, and I took Penelope to the aquatic center where we live.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I did not sunscreen. I sunscreened my daughter, but I did not sunscreen. And then, so I came home and I was pink.
that's fun.
I still feel it 2 days later. So that's how I know I did a good job.
That's how I know I did a good job.
But trying to wear something that's loose fitting.
My one of my favorite moments was in spring break. The girls were little. We went to Los Angeles, and we were at the hotel. The first day there, like at the pool, the girls were splashing around in the pool, and I'm just laying on a lawn chair, and I fell asleep. And
Crispy's got.
Amber goes, I woke up and I went, ooh, no, oh no. Like laying there on my stomach like this on a lawn chair at the pool. And I'm like, why didn't you wake me up? Because they were sleeping so well. And so I had 90 minutes of just, ooh. And so 2 days later, we went to Disney, and I could feel my skin rolling off on every ride.
I wish she would have just flipped you over. So you
Yes, that would have been so. Yeah, flipped.
Even face burn.
That was a good one. I've only had one time where I blistered. That also was doing a youth group fundraiser car wash. We did a lot of those. Was that?
You put the fun in fundraiser?
We did. We could. It was so easy. At any day, we could do a car wash at the Toys R Us in Lubbock, Texas. They were fine with us setting up there, and it was just $1,000 every time. So that was great.
Too bad Toys R Us went out of business.
Yeah, it didn't work out for them.
They're back in business.
Kind of.
They exist.
They exist. Where?
There's stores. I think there's actually a store.
There's one right next to the Radio Shack over there at Circuit City. Circuit City is right next.
No,
to
there's
the Kmart across the street.
Payless shoes.
And the Sears.
I want to say there's one at the Mall of America. No, there's
A Circuit
there's
City.
one. No, not Circuit City.
Toys?
Though I love Circuit City. I promise you, they exist.
Ultimate
Now they have
Electronics?
brick and mortar.
It's gotta be a Sports Authority there.
There's one in the Mall of America. There's one in the Mall of America right now. It's considered their flagship.
Got them.
I love how we can get Ty wrong.
About
something as
Toys R
Us.
But that,
I'm gonna look it up right now.
so we did that car wash
Oh, good.
on a Saturday, and then the next Monday we went to camp, and I had this hand-sized blister on the top of my back.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to camp, and within minutes, it was like a God just making fun of me moment. A kid that I hadn't seen in quite a while just ran up behind me and jumped on my back to here, and all of a sudden he got off and was wet.
It smelled a little funny.
Very salty. And,
That is terrible.
ooh,
I do not like that.
that was the feeling when you just
That's
smash
where
fingers.
the
that-
human water balloon came from.
Yeah. Oh, that hurt. That really, that was pain. Refined pain.
the last time I burned this bad was also in California, and it was actually my honeymoon with. There's a reason why we banned spray sunscreen in our household. We only use lotion now because I used the spray sunscreen and my wife turned out fine. My wife used the spray sunscreen and she was a little too close, and so I had these zebra stripes down my back of okay, and then everything else was not okay. And we're at Disney, and I'm like in line, and the air conditioning, just that pinching feeling, and that's actually where I found out I'm allergic to aloe too. So we put aloe on, and
at Disney,
and it did not help, and not a good moment for me as a new husband either. Just being like, this is what it feels like. Like,
I think aloe is just it's fake.
there's some in here. It's gotta be.
Fake?
I don't think it. I think it just is something.
is that an aloe plant right there? That just
helps.
It does help.
Yeah.
I don't know if it helps like healing, but it helps relief.
I'm allergic to it.
There was an aloe plant.
I can't wait to hide aloe.
There was an aloe plant at the beat.
Everywhere.
I don't know if I'm like allergic in the way of like I would swell up. Like, I'm not like that level, but it causes like right now the sunscreen the sunburn's doesn't feel good. But like if I put aloe on, it will feel like I'm being stabbed.
Oh, I like that.
There is a thing, I think it's called like Devil's Itch or something, where it's like
Nope.
it's like sunburn so bad that you can't sleep, and it's like people are allergic to the sunburn itself. I've had it once in my life, and literally was like rolling around on the ground for hours on end. Like nothing relieves it at all. It was the worst thing that ever happened.
Does feel really good too is one time I skied a day that I forgot my goggles at the place we were staying, and so this is on the mountain in New Mexico, and it just was a blue sky day. I'm like, oh, my goggles at the mountain are $200 or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna have to figure this out. And then at about 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm like, does anybody else have sand in their eyes? And it's just so pain.
His eyes look like he's been hotboxing the whole day.
Yeah, I think I have pink eye.
It's just bloodshot.
Oh man, it's sunburn your
Eyeballs.
Yeah, it's painful.
I think the word slough, everyone knows what you're talking about. If you say oh yeah, my skin was
Sloughing.
I immediately go to sunburn, but I also hate the word slough.
I've never heard that word.
As you should.
You talked about sloughing off a little bit ago when he's in Disney. His skin was just.
Yeah.
This is great.
Speaking,
dude, we just did 8.5 minutes on sunburns. All right,
very compelling.
Speaking of
anybody that made it through there,
that's too bad.
Don't worry, the best stuff is yet to come.
So, on this, I was talking to Rachel yesterday on this loving your enemy thing. This in Matthew, this is 17 weeks going through Matthew chapter 5.
Cool.
It's just one chapter, and it's so great to go to that degree of depth in walking through text. But the last words of Matthew chapter 5, again, Jesus wasn't talking in these chapters, but the last of these, so you've heard it said, is this call, be perfect as God is perfect. And the thing that is, just as I've been processing through this, doing some reading alongside this, is that call for perfection seems, I think our culture's response to this is so radically different than their cultural response to this, because everything about their religious beliefs, which was central to their lives, was about perfection. Their call was to follow the commandments, to follow the priestly commandments. They knew, again, their right relationship with God, there was opportunity for atonement, but everything about their life, their world was about perfection. And from their perfection, that perfection was achieved by not just by not doing bad things, but it was also by who you would not associate with. And so again, their list of Samaritans and tax collectors and Romans, just Gentiles, people that were not Jews in general, is that their part of their being perfect was not just how they associated with people, but who they didn't associate with. And so Jesus completely explodes this, and he goes, "You've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemies. This was so love people that are like you and hate people that are not." And that's a gross generalization of what would have been heard or why it was said. And Jesus says, listen, terrible people would do that. I'm calling you to even love people that you're culturally or even religiously are told not to associate with. Love them. And what a flipped upside down perspective, where this perfection is not by not associating, but perfection is by going to the other extreme of actually loving. And so take that, Sunburn.
Take that, Sunburn. How is that practically, like in Jesus' time, how was that practically lived out?
Well, that's where, if you grab, I've got in the text here, there's this litany of stories where Jesus, like a theme of Jesus's interactions with people is in these moments, these contrary to the who to avoid, but he's doing the exact opposite of avoiding, of building relationship with these people. So I'm getting there. The Samaritan woman, the centurion, dining with tax collectors, Zacchaeus, and so on. Like the practical of that in Jesus's time is that it's how Jesus lived. He wasn't living his life with these parameters, not going to connect with you, not going to help you, not going to serve you, but rather his example was to heal people on the Sabbath, touch people that had leprosy, to forgive, to the cross, forgiving his executioners. All these things are so contrary to what would have been the cultural stance. And so if you say, like, what is the heart of God? What is the heart of Jesus? He puts it on display that he was willing to stop, to pause, to help, to show value to people that culturally would have said, not only do they not have value, but you should avoid them because they're going to make you unclean.
Yeah, when I hear that, I hear my youth pastor's favorite axiom that they both of them used to always say is, "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future."
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty intense, complicated, and I always struggled trying to reconcile Jesus' words with that, because I get what they're trying to do and say, especially when it relates to the youth and stuff. Like, surround yourself with people who actually want what's best for you, that make you better, all those things. I think that's important. But does the love Jesus says, love your enemies, what is that that's practically lived out? Because does that require relationship? How do you?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
I don't know.
I also think we're gonna do a corner church quiz, which are always fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the quiz is to build understanding of like situations that make you feel comfortable or uncomfortable in relating with people. And I think enemy is such a, I don't know. I think that I don't know if most people's the right word. I think a lot of people are like, listen, there are people that I don't get along with, or people that I don't love to hang out with, and all this things, but I don't really have any enemies. And I think that the challenge that we have in our contemporary culture is that we would say, it's so easy to not have any enemies. I just know who to connect with and who to avoid. And Jesus is going, the avoid is the parameter of an enemy. And so how is it practically lived out or played out? How do you do that? every 2002 youth pastor, I think there is value in not being wrecked by people. I don't know what is. I get that, but also I think there's responsibility, but there's also responsibility not to hurt yourself, but there's also responsibility to help people. And if you build a world that can't associate with you, can't associate with you, can't associate with you, that is not. Jesus seemed to like eliminate all those barriers in his culture. He was plowing through those don't relate with, whether it was a Samaritan woman or a Roman military officer, and even calling his disciples to have tax collectors and zealots called together. I think Jesus is way more, or even wants us to be way more comfortable with valued relationship with people that are complicated than maybe contemporary Christian world would say that we should be comfortable.
That's good. That's good.
So hard though. I don't know.
Well,
that's the call. The call is complicated relationship. It's real. It's care in the complexity.
I think what helps me a little bit is because relationship is always two-sided. Both people choose to participate.
Yeah.
If one person chooses to not participate in a relationship, it's not a relationship anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Rich has something in his coffee.
It's a bug.
Your face is so close to the. So it requires both people to participate, and so I think what I hear, and this could be wrong, but I think what I hear when Jesus says "love your enemy," I think he's challenging us to live in a way that is choosing to participate in relationship with people, with all people, even people that may not choose to reconcile that, but choose to live in a way where that door remains open to a relationship. Like that's to me, that's the most loving posture you can have, is to live in a way that is inviting to a relationship.
Love, the word, there's Greek words for love, and the love. Yeah, and try not to go agape.
The Spanish words for love too.
Leave.
In fact, there's probably.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But the call to love is a unconditional, not an emotional. It's agape love is a resolve in having it. And when we think about love, and Jesus is called to love our enemies, and thinking about the complexity of enemy and all those things, is that love isn't just coddling to, or it comes with, love says no, love gives correction, love has boundaries, love is not an enabler, all these things. And so when you say, it is this openness for relationship and connection and valuing those things, it isn't also, it just, in that type of love, as a parent would say, okay, you can't do this anymore. I'm like, I thought you loved me. As that's also part of the complexity of this type of love. And Jesus was, again, I think about the woman who was caught in the act of adultery, and again, another moment where the religious authority says the law says that we should stone her, and Jesus flips this upside down again, and he doesn't disassociate from her, doesn't judge her, but at the end of that interaction, says, "Where are the people that condemn you?" "Well, I don't condemn you either. Go and sin no more." Mm-hmm. Like those were all loving actions, grace, valued relationship, and then a call to transformation.
Yeah, I think some of the complexity in this comes from like our understanding of love generally from enlightenment and from you know 1800s writing and things like that is largely associated with feeling and emotion, and so this call feels like, oh, I have to feel positively towards people who are making life hard for me, who are living diametrically opposed to the direction that I'm heading. And I think that this is deeper than that. This is a lot more rooted in action, a lot more rooted in how you live, and not the why. Which is like when you think about like the whole "show me your friends, I'll show you your future" axiom. It's still true. Like I see research from Kara Powell put out research in like 2021 or something like that. It's still like your four closest friends in the direction of your life are closely related to like certain success factors in the future and this, that, and the other. But if your why stays constant, you can have deep relationships or good relationships with people who are not the same as you.
Yeah, and again, the call that they knew was, and to bring this to the youth groupie example, is the call that the people that are standing before Jesus, they would have said, the reason why we hate tax collectors is because they're sellouts, and if I see value in them, it's going to make me unclean and unloved or unwanted by God.
Yeah.
And Jesus is flipping that and going, God loves them.
Yeah.
And it's okay for your perfection is not in you disassociating, disconnecting, separating from them, but your perfection is actually found in loving them. And then Jesus goes, a new command I give you, like, watch me associate with a woman caught in the act of adultery, or a Samaritan, or call a tax collector to be my disciple. So watch me. And then now, again, from that wasn't a moment of saying to those people, you're culturally unclean. Again, this is to that culture.
Yeah.
Therefore, stay that way. But that was separate from that. I mean, that's kind of like a separate conversation. It actually continues on in the Sermon on the Mount. But this goes back to just to them as a person who's loving, says, listen, you don't pick and choose. I'm not going to pick and choose. I'm going to love as God loves. That's our call.
Scott's Rapper.
It's as we walk through the Sermon on the Mount, it's not meant to be something that you just say, well, I got it, it's good, I'm done. This is for sure a lifelong process of saying, I need to work on this internal transformation. And the internal transformation here is not just saying, I'm going to be really good at not having any enemies. Jesus is saying, if somebody, an enemy, again, lowering the bar of enemy. Enemy isn't just somebody that you hate, but it's somebody that you would feel, boy, it's a lot comfortable to not associate with you. And Jesus going, well, let's work on that internally. What's it going to take for you to be comfortable associating with somebody, or be active in associating with somebody that even you feel uncomfortable associating with? Have fun.
Anything to add, Rich?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next week.
See you.